Wow, that was an emotional Antonio Conte. These players have never played for anything. They cannot play under pressure or under stress. What did you make of what he was saying there?
Well, I think he's got to take some responsibility as well. It's all right saying the players are like this, and yes, he can point to an illustrious career and winning trophies as a manager as well, but at the end of the day, he is the manager controlling these players, and there's a lot of good players, and they're a very inconsistent team, and he says, oh, I need time, but I don't see any progress. I've been bored watching Tottenham for a long, long time now. They're decent at one game, you don't know what you're going to get from one week to another. So if that's all the players' fault, is it? I mean, he talks about Tottenham players being selfish, being this and that and the other. Well, there was no shared blame there, and he's the main man in the hot seat. A lot of managers come out and say, you know, I'm to blame for bits and bobs. I mean, he's got control. He's picking the team. I don't know. I mean, I feel as if he's obviously thrown all his team there under the bus and talking about Tottenham being a team that has never had the right attitude type of thing. But I don't know. I would also be asking the question about him. And I think Tottenham fans, I think the board, and I think everyone else is probably looking at that thinking, you know, he's not going to be here. It almost seems to me as if he's trying to get out in saying what he's saying. I'm not sure how committed he is to Tottenham at the moment, and I'd be surprised if he was the manager next season.
Well, you're saying everyone's looking at that. What would you feel if you were a Tottenham player looking at that?
This was really like, watching this interview, it almost gave me a feeling like saying, like, everything your coach normally says in the dressing room or gets the team together as players and said, what he said is something that we all have heard before, right?
Behind
but
closed
not,
doors.
yes, but not in front of the camera. So watching this, I was even like, it almost got me quiet, like, wow, what's happening? So, and that's what Mike said, you know, like, now it comes the question, does he want to finish that season there, or is he looking of like, hey, I'm ready to go? Because giving an answer like that, it's like the responsibility becomes now on the team. Now the players are going to look at you and going to say like, hey, how are we going to see if this relationship can still work? And you don't want that, because you know what they are. Look, we're talking about the Spurs. If you look at the beginning of the season, how they were playing, even I including, I was like, wow, this team has something. They're not that far that you want to say like it's going that bad now. You understand they're 4th or 15th, and what doesn't matter if they're around it going for Champions League. Keep pushing because they need it.
What I will say though is he's not wrong in a certain respect of if players underperform, and sometimes we look at managers underperform too, but if the club is underperforming, the manager gets moved on. The manager never gets time to say, well, this isn't right. You just need to trust in me. You need to stick with me. Because it's always the manager that ends up losing his job, and then the players who've switched off for one manager may start then, well, new managers come in, I like this new manager, let's get going all over again. So he's certainly right about that. In the modern game, the manager's the one that always faces the punishment for a team underperforming, not the players.